Hey guys, and welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about some good tips for event planning. So make sure you come and follow along. So for those of you who do not know me or this is your first time meeting me, welcome. I'm really honored that you're here with me today. My name is Megan Young Gamble. I am known as the Project Execution Her at Gear Level Consulting. And we at Gear Level Consulting, we are an operations management firm that helps deliver packaging solutions to startup and legacy brands in the personal care industry, such as health, beauty, wellness, hair care, and more, to help you get from concept to distribution to your retail shelf, utilizing our proprietary Pimp Your Packaging framework to walk you through all the elements to produce your finished good product and be properly positioned in the retail store. So you can learn a little bit more about my practice by visiting our website, www.gearlevelconsulting.com. So let's go ahead and get into these tips for this segment today. So this was actually inspired by me attending a recent event in 2022. I attended the Specifications Management Summit hosted by SpecRite in Austin, Texas. And I wanted to share some best practices with you all. So that way, as you're starting to ramp up, going to conferences, events, trade shows, and more, you have a plan of action. So let's actually talk about some of these things. So number one, with this actual event, the company actually decided to utilize an event planning app called Hoova, which is really good because you can have one centralized location to house all the information such as the agenda, the speakers, attendees, and more. So I really like that. However, if you realize that the event that you are attending does not have this type of app, I'm still going to be sharing some best practices with you as you start to see my screen with the app that was incorporated for this respective event. Every event that I attend does not have technology incorporated or utilization of apps and such. However, the tips I'm going to give you can still be applicable to you if you just do a little bit of legwork. Okay, so let's go ahead and follow along. So if we're actually looking at this app, you can see that everything is centralized. So you know the hotel, you know who the attendees are, the agenda, the speakers, and more. So as you're starting to go through, and if you're utilizing an event app, make sure that you are looking at all of those details because those things makes a difference. Whatever is outstanding and not captured within the app that you or your organizer may be utilizing, then make sure you go to like your notes section like Google Keep or iPhone notes, etc., to actually jot down some of these best practices and tips. Okay. So here you see that I'm kind of listed on the leaderboard here within the app. I was ranked number 2 with the number of points and such. And I really like how this app was able to tell you how you can start to gain points and everything to be on the leaderboard. So now, as you see, there's a couple of options and there are speakers listed and more. And so I really like this because it's a good way to capture who is going to be the speakers as well as the content for the sessions for at the event. So as you see displayed on my screen here, they have the full agenda listed and it lets you know what's happening or what have you. And I really like this because as I was going through looking at the agenda and such, I was able to select which sessions I would be attending just by clicking the little boxes that are on the right side of the session name to actually create my own agenda. So I really like that. 2, it's also a good way to see who is the speaker as well, to see if you already are connected with that person, if there are any mutual connections in your network and more. So make sure you are capturing these things and writing down what's the session name and who is the speaker and of course, where is it going to be located? So that way, when it's time for the event, you're not having to scramble all through trying to figure out where this session is going to be located. Now, as I went through and kind of set my agenda and such, I realized that with events and such, it's a lot of sessions that I want to attend. So I made sure that I was very strategic to incorporate my moments of recharge. So after the lunch session, I realized that I wanted to go and recharge and everything, which was really good and really helped me become more efficient with networking during the sessions. So I actually made sure that I incorporated buffer time in for me just to have a moment to myself to digest, to recharge, handle any phone calls, meetings, or whatever the case may be during that time. And it was something really beneficial for me, and I'm really glad that I incorporated, because I did it after lunch and then came back ready for the evening, late afternoon evening sessions, as well as the event for dinner as well. So that was really beneficial. Next thing I want to highly recommend to you is to incorporate, is to actually look at the attendee list. So if you have an event app that is actually capturing this for you, that's great. If not, you're still going to be able to leverage some of these best tips I'm going to share with you. So as I was going through the app, I really like this because as I was going through, I was able to kind of see all the attendees that were going to be in attendance that actually registered for this event. So with this respective event, it had 181 people listed as attendees to be in attendance with the actual session. So that was really good. So I was able to go through and skim and see who all was going to be present for the event. So I actually just took probably about 30 minutes or so just to kind of go through and see who I knew that were mutual connections and more. And then I liked how within the app, once you click on the attendee's name, you can actually open up their profile, be navigated to their LinkedIn page and such, and learn more about them. Now, I'm not going to log into LinkedIn right now because I have LinkedIn on as an app, but you can actually do this, if you are utilizing this platform or a similar platform and such. So I really like that because it allowed me to capture the notes, see interest, and I was able to see everybody's information from a company perspective. Next, as I was going through the attendees, I then realized and made note of who were the top people that I had to connect with and that were nice to have. So they were two separate lists. The first list of those who I had to connect with, I actually would bookmark within the respective platform and made sure that I actually made a point to connect with them. So I had 181 attendees for attended this event, and you see I have bookmarked 29. So with the bookmark, it is a little bit more than 10%. However, it's very strategic why I did this. Number one, everybody that is on the attendees list would not be present. So that way I had extra people that I know that I had to connect with, right? Secondly, this is really important because it made me be laser focused of who it was that I had to connect with. And as you see people on the screen, these were people that I bookmarked that I had to connect with. So like with Victoria, she's my sorority sister and didn't know that prior to meeting. But I met her, I met Jeff, I met Kevin, I met Sabrina, I met Chris, I met Kimberly. So I met a lot of people that were on my bookmark list. And some of the people that I had bookmarked were not present at the event. So that's why my count is more than the 10%, but I always like to say 10%, 10% or 10 people. Okay. Because you have to think about it. When people are going to in-person events and conferences and trade shows, everybody's on a mission, right? Everybody thinks, oh, I'm here to connect with everybody. And that's good. However, there's only so much time in a day. There's only so much time that you have to make that first impression with those people. And so what are you doing to set yourself up for success, to network with purpose and with intention, right? So that is something I highly recommend. And so anybody that is going to be present at this event, make sure that you are selecting the top 10% or the top 10 people you have to connect with at this event. So that way you have a game plan going in. Okay. And so as I did that, I looked at my sessions. I selected my top 10% or the top 10 people that I wanted to connect with. Of course, I connected with more than 10 people and 10% of the attendees, right? However, those were the people that I had to connect with that were bookmarked. So make sure that you are being very crystal clear about who it is you want to connect with. And then next, I wanted to be able to capture want to be able to have follow-up sessions with people, because when you're at this event, there's only so much time in the day and everybody's trying to get to everybody. So I made sure that I had some marketing material that would actually set me apart from everybody else to actually keep me at the forefront of their mind. So I had these really cute buttons that said Pimp Your Packaging, which is my company, Get Level Consulting, proprietary and trademark framework. So I gave this to everybody because people were at this event because they're in the packaging industry. They help produce the packaging deliverables. and more. So I made it very crystal clear to pass those out to just about everybody. And it's a very cost-effective option too, as a good way for marketing and branding. And then for those people that were on my top list that I had to connect with, some of them also received my custom branded pens, which I really love. It's very elevated, very luxe feel and such, and I love the way they write. And it's also good because with these pens that I have, you can utilize it to write in your notebooks. Also, it's compatible to utilize on all of your smart devices, so your phones, your tablets, and more. And I utilize this extensively when I was taking my notes in my iPad to help with scrolling and stuff like that, and not having to use my fingertips as much. Next thing I did was I actually created my own personal badge. And this badge was really important because in the event that the organizer, the host, did not have badges on it, I wanted to have more detail about me and such. And this was more so very intentional by me and very strategic because because we're all wearing masks, right? And it's hard to hear each other when you're wearing masks. So I wanted to have a badge that showed you who I was, what's my title, and some fast facts about me. So I listed 3 fast facts about myself: where I'm located, the industry I work in, and why I was attending this event. Because considering we're wearing masks, there's only so much time in the day, and I wanted to be able to show my badge as a quick reference of who I am, where I'm located, what industry I'm in, and why I'm here at this conference. And so I did this because it was a good way for me to have follow-up conversations with people that attended the event. So they could scan the QR code here and then be navigated to actually submit their information for us to actually schedule time on their calendar. So very good way. And this was a really good backup method to the app that the event organizer had in place. And I'm all about having a backup method, or for my project managers, your contingency plan. So in the event that they did not have this app, I had this badge. And this badge is I create for every event that I attend. So that way, if I'm limited on time, that person's limited on time. When I want to continue the connection and don't want to pass out business cards and such, this was my way of capturing their information to schedule time on their calendar. And everything was set up behind the scenes within my email marketing platform. So that was a really big move for me. And so with that being said, let's recap some of the best tips shared with you from my recent event. So number 1, if you don't have, if the event organizer does not have an app to capture or have like that single source of truth with all information readily available, you can still create your own swipe page in your phone with notes, Google Keep, or any other note device that's in your phone, on your iPad, etc. So, and make sure you're incorporating these best tips. Number 1, make sure you're networking with a purpose. So make sure who is the top 10% or the top 10 people that it is you want to network at this event. Number 2, make sure that you plan out your sessions and which one you will be present for, and also incorporating those moments of recharge. I know a lot of us want to make sure we connect with any and everybody. However, you cannot do that if you're burnt out and you don't have enough energy because you're depleted. You're on empty, right? It's just like your cell phone. If your phone is on E or has no battery life, you cannot utilize it. You cannot get into the internet and more. So I need you to do the exact same thing to recharge yourself so you are at your fullest potential, full battery, to be able to go out and network further. Okay. Next tip, make sure that you do have a backup system. So in the event that the event organizer does not have an app like this event organizer SpecRite does, then make sure you have a backup to the madness. How are you going to continue the connection? How are you going to follow up? How are you going to be able to tell them some fast facts about yourself? So in the event you are wearing a mask, it's noisy, or whatever the case may be, they can see this information very quickly, scan the QR code to know how to continue the conversation from there. And of course, when you are continuing the conversation, make sure you are doing it intentionally. Don't just spam them or anything like that with their inbox. Make sure it is very strategic in that manner of following up and having a connection and truly developing relationships. Okay, so I hope this was helpful, and definitely let me know what are some event planning tips that you have and incorporating when you've attended in-person events. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I will be dropping more information and tips and more in reference of the industry, packaging, project management, operations, in the health, beauty, wellness space, and more. So with that being stated, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope this helps, and definitely let me know in the comments